PMP question number 10. In the context of hybrid project, a stakeholder approaches you emphasizing an essential requirement. He conveyed that despite discussing this with the product owner, he believes it has not been adequately addressed. What is the most appropriate action for this particular context? What should you do next? We are not very clear what kind of stakeholder this particular person is. The power of stakeholder, the interest of stakeholder is not very well defined. We are also not clear that is this requirement is really essential. We know that stakeholder believes it's an essential requirement. And we also don't know, is it really not adequately addressed, or he thinks it is not adequately addressed. Maybe it is in the backlog, it has been prioritized, it has been discussed, but not released because we have other priority items. Maybe that's the case. Is it a communication error, or we have a product owner not listening to his or her requirement? So that part is not clear. So what I do, I need to act based on the limited information available in the question. So say, looking at this limited info, looking all the 4 options, which one I can go safely with? Let's follow that. Take the requirement and add it directly to the product backlog. Not at all a bad idea. I can do it, provided it is not already added, provided it is not already developed, provided it is not already splitted into multiple requirements. So I might create confusion. So I probably need to understand what has been done before that I add this requirement directly to the product backlog. And as we know, adding to a product backlog doesn't mean that we will do it. We will definitely go through backlog refinement process and product owner will look into it. So it's a good candidate option if I don't have any better option. But in general, I need to really see the history first. I need to do my homework before I go forward. Option B, make a note of the issue in the issue log for the resolution. So say, many of you may consider it, oh, it looks like I'm postponing the problem. It is not. So in general, I keep reminding that we need to follow a formula or a sequence of activity. Whenever some problem, conflict, issue comes, I need to acknowledge the issue. I probably need to say, okay, thank you for raising it here. Can you tell me more about it so that I can do my homework with it? And I understand your concern here. I'm making note of it and I will get back to you soon. Yeah, that is my first thing. After that, I go to my desk, I figure out more details, I talk to a few more people, create a history and understanding about it, and then I find out what should I do about it. So usual sequence of action is acknowledgement, analysis, and acting. Many times in the PMP exam question, we don't have sufficient information to jump directly to action. So it is always good if we can find something about acknowledge and analyze before we choose anything from action. So this looks the great idea out of first 2 we have discussed. So B is better than A because A is acting with some assumption. Option C, encourage the product owner to collaborate more closely with the stakeholder. Now this option is believing the fault is at a product owner side. There is no communication issue. The stakeholder is saying all the right. The information is all good. And it is the product owner who has a problem and I must fix it. I think too many assumptions we are adding here. We don't have all those information coming out of this question. Yeah, so maybe this is a troublemaking stakeholder, never attends the meetings, never looks at the demo, and just keep complaining. So I need to be very clear before I decide to encourage someone or mentor someone or coach someone. What is the real issue? Definitely, we need to engage this stakeholder well. We need to figure it out how to engage this stakeholder well. Maybe by fixing communication, maybe by fixing product owner, but it is too much conclusion directly going to C. D, explain the stakeholder that managing requirement is primarily the responsibility of product owner. Candidate, but not very good idea. Even in the adaptive life cycle, if I am a project manager, overall communication management, overall stakeholder engagement, taking care of issues, ensuring shared understanding about the project, ensuring that delivering value as a collaborative group between team and stakeholder is my part. Yeah, I may understand that major decisions has to be taken by the product owner, though the information is not very clear, but taking my hands off from this particular thing is not a good idea. So D is not a good idea. Out of these 3 options, D is definitely out. C is lots of assumption has been made. So A is also little bit assumption, less assumption in case of A. So first is B. If I am missing B, then I can go with A. But first option which I will go in this particular exam is question is B. I do see many of you selecting option C. So please be clear, many times you feel that your option is right, But if you critically look at the question again, you will find out I have been adding a lot of assumptions to it. And in the PMB exam, we should minimize addition of assumptions. Sometimes some amount of assumption you have to add. That depends upon available 4 option. So I have a question, I have a 4 option. Without adding many assumption, which of the 4 option fits well is my answer. Else, I may give all my right answers, but I may not get a good score or a good result in my PMP exam. So acknowledge, analyze, and act. And that's why the option B in this particular case is the best option.